Hey everyone, welcome back. Another fun episode of what stuff's going on in my garage. So today we are working on this JK a friend of mine brought over. We're going to be doing some wiring work, some upgrades. Going to be adding a switch panel, relay block, just make some overall improvements to the wiring that the previous owner had did not so great a job of. So yeah, should be fun. So as you can see, this rat's nest mess, pretty poorly done, and like it's just a mess. Nothing's wrapped. There's been all kinds of shorts, like, you know, you hit the switch, lights on, and you can tell there's just not enough power. None of this was hooked up with relays. It's just straight to the battery, and it's just poorly done. So we're gonna make it better. And like these KC lights somebody put on there, they never even hooked up. So yeah, we have this really nice Daystar A-pillar pod switch panel that we're going to put in. We've already had the terminal wires added, so we're halfway there. So we'll be mounting this, and then we got this really slick relay box here. It's watertight, and we'll be adding all the relays to that. Now, there are a lot of great options out there on the market that make prefabricated relay boxes that fit here on the JK. They're a little on the pricey end, and we're operating on a kind of a tight budget with this project. So we opted for something a lot less expensive that we kind of have to fab up ourselves. And then so we're just going to have to make a bracket so it'll fit right here where the prefab units kind of place the same ones there. So, you know, a little bit of extra work, but we saved a lot of money. On this Jeep, we've got the front KC lights that we're going to put on a relay, and then we've got the windshield lights. And the owner is going to be adding a light bar here real soon, but just not here yet, so it's still on order. We have an onboard air compressor that's up underneath. We're going to be putting on a relay, and then also tucked under the front is a big air horn. Air horn. It's fun. That requires a heavy duty valve on the air tank, so we'll have to put a relay in there for that. So 5 relays total, and our box over there has capability of 6 relays, so we have room for growth in there as well. All right, so basically what we have is we have our battery over here, and then we're going to have our relay box over here. Essentially, we're going to be running a main like 4 gauge wire with a fuse over to the box, and that's going to be a main power supply that'll feed all the relays. And then we'll have our ground, and then we'll have our individual outputs for each one of the circuits, and there'll be a fuse in for each one of those. And then so our relay box has a spot for all the fuses and all the relays. Yeah, and then of course we'll have our wire coming, I guess it should go this way, up through the dash into our switch panel. Pretty rudimentary, but yeah, you get the idea. Let's get started. First off, we gotta assess the situation. Let's get all this stuff. So this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Look, right? They put a fuse tap in here, but I mean, look at that. Oh, that is feeding all of the accessories, air compressor, all that is all running off of this little pinched wire. Yeah, we're gonna do something about that. Okay, well, now that I have it safely disconnected, I'm safe to cut all these here. We're gonna be taking all this out, so I'm just gonna cut it. We'll come back and clean up these connectors in a minute. Well, that's loose. Nice thing about a lifted Jeep, easy to get underneath. So, back there is our air compressor. I don't know if you can see that or not. There it is. Alright, we got power wires from that. They're hiding under here. Nothing's protected. Look at that. Ugh, it's just horrible. So this is our solenoid for the air horn, and yeah, that air line is the air horn. I got a random relay under here. I have a sneaking suspicion that's for the air horn, but not a great place for a relay. Yeah, we're gonna be moving that. Yeah, so we've got little toggle switches all over the place here, so pull some panels off. We're gonna have to get into there anyway, so tear that apart. So, nice thing about Jeeps, we'll just get this out of the way. I get this panel out of the way, and sometimes you can get in there. Here we go. Oh boy, more fun stuff. Get this kick panel out of the way so we can get a closer look at what's going on down here. Basically, they've had these windshield LEDs running straight off the toggle switch. No fuses, no relays. Wow, that's not good. All right, now we have all the old stuff pulled back and laid out. We can start making it look pretty again. Clean it up and make it work right. For our switch panel to run in the switches to the relays, we're going to actually use Cat 6 and plugs. Yes, and before you get all angry and upset about it, Cat 6 is rated at carrying up to 48 volts and can handle up to 2 amps. So it will carry plenty of current in short distances for our switches. And because we're not carrying a load on this, it's a good use. Plus it's easy to work with, it's easy to pass through the dash, and it's easy to plug and unplug. So this will be perfectly adequate for powering or for switching the relays from the switches. So always score the insulation, and because it most likely nicked one of these wires, I always use a wire and I pull it back. And of course this usually works a lot easier, but this one's being stubborn. There we go. We're going to go back a little bit more. Give us some to work with. And since we have 4 switches and we have 4 pairs, we're going to use a full pair for each switch instead of an individual wire, just for the little added extra security. Get this here so we can. About like that. There we go. Nice and tidy. We'll zip tie this all together so it doesn't pull. And we're going to zip tie it to, we're going to run it through this and zip tie it to it so that everything stays nice and tight so we don't accidentally yank on these wires and cause a problem. Gotta think ahead. Get all these wires routed in here. I always like to leave a little bit of a tail here, just in case one of these switches needs to be pulled for some reason. Like that. There. Nice. Okay, my panel's ready to go in. Okay, to get the switch panel in here, we're going to have to take this rocker cover off and the visor and get this piece out. Like that. So we're going to transfer these clips to the new switch panel and then pop the switch panel in place. Alright. Don't forget this. Nice. Now I can put this back in. I thought ahead and I left one of these old wires from the switch through the dash because there's already a hole through the grommet and it saves me from having to crawl underneath the dash. And I'm just going to use that as a pull wire. Tape this to here and pull through. Just like that. So this is a prime example of why you wrap your wires. This wire completely chafed through, had been rubbing on something. Granted, this is the ground wire, but can you imagine what kind of chaos this would cause if it was the power wire? I mean, that's just bad. Alright, so we're all set. Now I just need to come up with a bracket. One of these days I'll own a metal shear and I can actually cut sheet metal. But in the meantime, this is what I got. Okay, so we got our relay box all tidied up. And we're gonna lay that in there. We got our cable from the switches crimped and ready to go, so that just plugs in right there. Boom. Super simple. And then we're gonna run the battery cable and then power feed around the front, around the other side there. Put some wire wrap on that, and then start hooking accessories up. Alright, so now I got all this nice and tidied up. Looks a lot better. We can go ahead and button the interior back up. Alright, cable's in, nice and routed here. Got our fuse tapping here for switch ignition source for the switches. Alright, everything electrical should be hooked up, so now we just need to get the stuff hooked up to the relay box and give it a test. Alright, got everything all connected, tied up, nice and tidy now. So let's take a look and see what we got. Oh yeah, that's more like it. And look at those, full brightness. That's the way they should be. Yeah. Alright, gonna run some cable here and hook up these KC lights. I think that'll be the last it, and then just button everything back up. Alright, got those buttoned up. I'm just going to wrap them up in some loom. It's all good. Alright, let's hit it. Yeah. Sweet. Now that looks 100 times better than it did before. I'm pretty happy with the results. Alright, so now basically all I have to do now is pick up tools and get cleaned up and clean myself up, because I'm probably wearing most of the dirt that was underneath this thing. So yeah, it's been a long day. We got it done. Oh yeah, and by the way, sorry for the bad lighting. It's dark out and we're on the road. So if any of you are watching and actually paying attention, you're probably wondering, I was like, hey, what about this air horn you're talking about? Yeah, so I figured I'd have to give a demonstration, but I had to get out to a little more secluded area because it's pretty loud. So here you go, just for you guys. That's fun, huh? Thanks for watching.